Let's see, anybody gonna get on here on tonight. I'm doing something serious on tonight, guys. I just got off from work. Call myself just gonna come and wind down. So I gotta get this word out my mouth. My tongue getting tired. The enemy try to stop me from saying what I got to say. But I want to see if anybody gonna come online on my live. I know it's kind of late. I'm just getting off of work. See somebody will touch and agree with me on this. Say special prayers for some people that I know. My brother Wayman Sanders, who's in the hospital. Say a prayer for him. Say a prayer for my friend Shannon. I could never pronounce her last name. For her, for the loss of her mother. There's a long prayer list. I can't think of everybody's name right now, but when I do think of it, the names come to me, then I'll be able to send out the shout outs for the prayer. There's a lot of prayer that needs to be done for a lot of people right now. We're going through some things and going through with this COVID. And God put this in my spirit to, usually I've been putting up silly stuff, but today I'm being serious today. But God put in my spirit on this evening as I was coming home, and I can just give you a synopsis of what I'm trying to say. I've been working for the same job for the last 13 years. Officially yesterday, my position had changed from being a security officer to being a dispatcher. Let's catch this in the spirit now. My position as a security officer, which I have been doing off and on for 26 years, was to go around secure things from a physical point of view as far as buildings, people, so forth and so on. So catch this in the spirit. That position has now been changed. Not to say I don't want to be around people, but the position I am in now give me more tools to use my gifts. Let's put it this way, use my brain now. First I was using my hands. Now I'm using my brain, going from one position to another position. So this is what God is doing to you in the spirit realm. He's moving you from and putting you in your right position. He putting you in the right position so you can move on to the next position. If you didn't graduate from one position, He wouldn't put you in another position. Although God could put me in a position of just being a security officer, and yes, I've been doing that. I could have been anywhere. I could have been behind the desk. I could have been long time ago, but God wasn't ready for me to be in that position yet. I had to endure being what I was and what I'm doing as far as being a security officer. But now I am a dispatcher. It's more work as far as using your mind, using your brain, using your hands, using your knowledge of computers, using your knowledge of using Word, Excel, all the things that I learned in college. I'm actually able to use that as being a dispatcher more than I was using that to be an officer. Although I did some training, I trained myself some things that I had to do as far as learning every aspect of being a security officer and a dispatcher on my own. I helped out with different projects. I helped out behind the scenes. Never had an official title, but I love helping people. So I help as much as I can, when I can, how I can, gave them the knowledge that I need, and they went on from there. So now that I'm in this position, I'm able to just hands-on, just get what need to be done, and they didn't have to say, well, Jenna, you need to learn because I already knew what I had to do. I already knew when they put me there. They didn't even have to train me that much, only with things that had been changed. So let's put this in the spirit realm. Sometimes you have to be trained in one level to move to the next position. You can't not go from one position without being trained and then go to another position. Even if you had at a job, any type of job that you have, you would move up to a different position the more education that you have. So just get this in the spirit realm. You will move, and God will move you in a different position the more that you get the anointing that's upon you. The more that you study his word, the more that you start living his word. We just had Bible class, we were speaking about that. The more you just start teaching his word, the more you just have that relationship with God. The more that you do that, the position that you're in right now, God will move you from that position and move you to the next position. It's just like you going to school from one level to another level to another level to another level. For each time that you learn something from whatever grade that you're in, from kindergarten all the way up. Some people may have finished school, some people may not have. That doesn't mean you don't have any kind of knowledge or know-how. A lot of people who did not go to college, anything like that, own a business already. But God put them in that position for a reason and a season. Everything is in God's timing. So whatever things that you think you should be at, and I thought, well, I should have been more than what I was, or more advanced than what I was as far as working or a job. But because the situation that was kept going, I stayed where I was at. I was patient and I waited. So for me waiting, God allowed me to be able to go from one position to another position. Then after I get that position, he probably move into another position. But I got to, whatever he does with me, I have to be steadfast, unmovable, just keep, being patient and still waiting on God to do what he needs for me to do. Same thing when I started in the ministry. Started off in the ministry, just going around, walking around in the neighborhoods, talking with people, giving out candy. That's how I started off doing Restore Hope Outreach. And then it went from one level to another level, another level. But when you start being around, I was around certain people, I'm like, well, God was telling me, okay, I was doing prophetic conferences, prophesying, things like that. But God was like, nah, I know you have that gift. I know you already know, I didn't know anything about prophecy, anything till I came here. But I was doing it, operating in it all my whole life and never knew that I was actually doing it. So there's a difference with me compared to some people who grew up in that. I grew up as a Baptist. Didn't know about fivefold ministry. Didn't know about any of that. I knew about evangelism. That's all I knew because that's what my dad taught me when I was in New Orleans. So I knew about evangelism. I knew about being behind the scenes in the church. I'm a PK kid, so I knew about that. Some things I was trained in before I even came here to Columbus. But it took a storm to come in New Orleans to move me. See, he moved me from out that he moved me from out that position. Being in New Orleans, being wild, being one of the wild child, going out all the time, partying, clapping, in the clubs. That's what I did. I still went to church, but I still was in that. Also, when I grew up. But when God was ready for me to make that change, to change my position, he said, but you can't stay in this where you at right now because I can't use you. So I'm going to have to take you from where you is and take you to a whole nother city, a whole nother state, so I can position you to get so you can learn and you can meet the people who you're going to meet to teach you who you are. So that's what God did with me. He put me in that, oh Jesus, he put me in that position, as far as being homeless, that position as far as leaving my family, and that position so I can become pruned to learn about him. So I can be pruned. He had to pick me and shake me up. When anything that needs to be shaped, you have to go through some fire. If you don't go in the fire, if you don't go in any type of situations at all, how could you tell anybody else? What kind of testimony can you give? So each week, each time, position from position. He had to position me right. Now he positioning me around the right people, because I was around not the right people who I need to be around. He positioned me now to meet the people who I need to meet to go to that next position, that next level in him. Because sometimes we can get ourselves all tied up in our physical positions or our work positions, as far as where we are, what kind of job we have, and how much money you make, that type of thing. Yeah, I make money when I'm doing security, but I wasn't satisfied with that because wasn't using this. I was using this because I was able to counsel with people. I was able to talk with people. People to come ask me to pray for them. People, that kind of stuff. Even beyond the job, when I go out in the streets, I can do the same. So I'm like, wait a minute, I just don't have to be here on my job to do this. I can be out there in the streets and do the same thing. Now with this position, I don't have to be around any people. It's just me, by myself, with the computers. But when he put me in that position, it was for a reason and a purpose. Some might think, well, why would you do that? Why would you? Because how it goes is, I was in a car accident a couple of years ago. I still had pain and stuff in my neck. I can't stand up too long. So my position as a security officer, right now, you have to stand up for so many hours or whatever, and I had to sit. But doing that, I got my doctor's notes. I do have to sit down because of my neck. But the position that was open, and guess what? That position was open for a long time because someone else had quit. So they needed someone to fill that position. But God opened the door. He opened the door through my ailment. But my knowledge was able to get me to be in that position, to take that new position, because the other things, being secured, I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't walk them floors anymore, stand up that long. I always had to sit down. But God opened up a door for me to be moved from one position to another. So this is the same thing he's going to do to you. You going through some things right now, but God is conditioning you for your next position. He's conditioning you to move from one level to the next level. He's going to position you right, to meet the right people that you need to meet. He's going to condition you, whatever the ministry that you have inside of you. It just don't have to all the time be preaching at somebody's church. We got corners all around here. And the church is not just about being in the four walls. We are the church. We are the living epistles that need to go out and compel others to come to Christ. We've been doing some things with different ministries. I see my friends on here. I see Julie and Shannon. We're small ministries combining our resources to come together and do some things out here in this community with some bigger people haven't even been doing. And then wondering why right now their church is about to close down, because you're not even doing an outsource to get some people to come in. You don't really need, right now we can't fellowship at the buildings, anything like, but that's just telling us right now where your heart was at when the buildings were. I'm about to change the subject. I don't want to change the subject. But where was your heart? Was you there because of form or fashion? Or was you there to do a purpose? Was you there because it's traditional? Or was you there to have a relationship with God and a fellowship with other people in the body of Christ? That's all ministry is. That's all church, being in the church four walls, is coming together with people with the same mind and the same likeness as you, as far as ministry wise, as far as church gatherings. But there's a lot of ministries that's about to close right now, because their church was not based on going out and evangelize. And that's why the church never grew. And people sometimes be there for form, or they be there for fashion. They be there because they have a certain name, or they have a position or a title. Don't let your title go above what God, who God is. Don't let your title go above anything else. Don't, because you have a title, to make you better than anybody else. Everybody is different. Everybody come to God differently. So everybody might not be as advanced as you are, or some you might be a little, and then you have to learn some things. So God is about to position some people right now. So get ready to get in your position. When you get in that position, stay in it for a while. You be about to be moved now. Everybody say you move to another level. No, I'm not saying you're going to move from another to another position. And when God puts you in that position, watch how things is going to move. Watch how God is going to bless you. Just stay there. Because if you help others, God is going to help you. He's going to supply He's going to supply everything that you need to supply things that belongs to other people. Some people don't know what I do behind the scenes because I just don't put everything on Facebook. Yeah, I get on there and clown around and have fun and things like that. But there's a serious side to me also. I've been doing it for so long. Even before I was in the church setting, and I've been doing this so long. I've been doing this when I was in the street. I had people living with me, buying stuff for people, taking care of other people's children, all that kind of stuff. Way before I even came here to Columbus, Ohio, to even start being in ministry. But God had elevated me so much. If you don't believe, I did not really actually start ministry until 2010. 2008, I was brought to the Glory Center Church. That's when all this started off. My first church was Bethel Temple Apostolic. I didn't even know what apostolic was. I didn't know about fivefold ministry, but God would intricately put you in a position to meet the right people who you need to meet. And then when it keep going from up and up and up and up. So the point that when I haven't been here just, 15 years now? 15 years, been doing real ministry since 2009, 2010. And I have seen an elevation that God has sent me. Some people who've been in ministry 20, 30 years. But the thing is, you have to have some type of outcome. What is the outcome? Have you actually have people turn their life around? I've been seeing so many people who I've been talking with, so many people that I ministered to. Some are still living, some still here. You can see all the testimonies. They still call me, say, "Look, Miss Jen, you just been there. You know, you always kept up with me. Things like that. You just don't know. It's just the outcome. What is the outcome? What is the plan and purpose that you have? What is the plan and purpose that you have in someone else's life? Have you seen a change in people who you minister to? Have you seen a change? You have to do a dialogue with, certain people on their certain levels. I'm not going to say I'm at this level, that whatever level you on, I'll come to your level. As for, yes, since Katrina. Yeah. Because some things you have to do in secret. Because you don't want everybody to know everybody else's business. And whatever thing that's said to me or whatever, I keep that confidential. So I'm not that type that's going to sit there and be, somebody might tell me something, whatever. I'm going to keep that confidential. They ain't going to be all over. Say, hey, child, hey, girl, I don't do stuff like that. That's not me, and I'll never will ever do that. Because God had put me in a certain position to do that, to do counseling. I do counseling behind the scenes. I may not have a church building, but I do have people. Matter of fact, if I have all the people that I know, it wouldn't be able to fit. They wouldn't be able to fit in no church building. There's too many of them. But they out there in the street, so I go to them. Or sometimes they come to me. Because God put me in that certain position. And now he said, that good and faithful servant, you had served in that position that I had given. So now I'm about to move you over to the next position. Because you done right with the position that I gave you the first time. And each level that he's going to keep bringing you to. Because you just being obedient. Being obedient or just being a blessing to other people is the best thing that you can do right now. Even in this COVID time, God, whoo, Jesus. Like before this COVID came, I was in a quarantine before the quarantine. I was in a predicament before this came. So God was working on some things and working in our, me and my husband favor, working it for our family favor, and he will work things out in your favor as long as you just stay steadfast and immovable and keep doing the things that you need to do as far as compelling others to come to Christ. When was the last time that you actually ministered to someone for them to come back to Christ? Or if they, come back. Maybe they strayed. I'm talking to pastors, bishops behind the scene, those who have fallen, but I never judged them. Everybody have their time when they don't want to minister anymore. They might want to give up doing it. I mean, anointed people. You want to push them, but they still have their little issues and everything right now, but you still have to be patient with them. You still talk to them. You still give them words of encouragement no matter what the situation may be. Everybody got that time. I don't even feel like doing it because look how these people acting. Look how they're acting towards me, but that's not the goal. The goal is to finish the race. The goal is to do what God asks you to do. So when it comes to people right now, I don't really care what you say, how you say, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, but I'm still going to go towards the mark that God had, the plan and the purpose that God had asked me for me to do. I'm still going to go on the street. I don't never have to be in your church. I never have to be on your pulpit preaching or anything, because guess what? There's a lot more out here than in somebody's four walls. It's a lot more to do and lots more to accomplish. As you see, Jesus went out. You never seen him in the building. You never seen him in a building. He preached outside. He went from city to city. He never stayed inside of a church building. And you saw what he did when he did go to the church building, how they was using God's name in vain, selling things, and then he was angry and went there and knocked everything over, because that's not what the church is about. It's not supposed to be a money-making entity for anybody. Yes, you have to pay for, if you have a building, you have to pay for the upkeep of it. That's what the tithes is for. Tithes is actually supposed to be used to make sure the building is right, make sure the bills is paid in the building. It's just like you being in a social and pleasure club. If you in some type, if you know what I'm talking about, those who used to have the club thing, what they call these up here, members only clubs, and you got to pay dues well, you can pay your dues, but you can't pay your tithes. You pay more dues than tithes. I think there's so much money a year that you have to be part of this certain group, that you have to pay this certain amount of money for. Some of it be thousands of dollars per year. In New Orleans, we have social and pleasure clubs, and they be paying $2,000-$3,000 in 1 year, maybe more than that, to be part of this certain group, especially the Zulu social and pleasure club, in which they do parades every year. So what's the difference between that and paying your tithes at church? And you're not trying to say that you're trying to give money to whoever your pastor is. But that money is supposed to be used for the upkeep of the ministry and the upkeep of the building when you tithe. Now, if y'all decide you want to give your pastor love offering, or if he do have a stipend, some pastors have salaries, that type of thing, understandable. But there's some things that you need to do, especially when it comes to the money that God give you. What you saying? Flipping to, yeah. Yes, it has. A den of thieves, definitely, my sister. You taking people's money who really don't have anything, and they may be facing the eviction. They can't even come to the church. Well, they've been paying tithes for years and years to get any money because there's nothing in the storehouse. You ever think about that? Don't you still have to start saving within the ministry itself, because you never know when one of your members might need something, and they've been paying their tithes faithfully for years and years and years. They get in a little stump, can't pay their rent, can't pay a light bill, and they can't even go to their own ministry to get that. Oh, the pastor will say, well, we're going to pray for you. Huh? I've been here so many years and I gave $1,000 and I can't get $100? Are you serious? So that's another thing. I don't know, I went to a whole other realm right there. So just get ready to get in your position right now. Because when you get in your position right now, God is going to start showing you some things. Your eyes is going to feel, God, my eyes been so open just being this quarantine, and you start really thinking about things and seeing things more than what you thought you would be. It's like, wow, all that time the church been closed. And all this chaos that's just going on. Where's the prayer? We can still come together and pray. We can still do that. If you can have Zoom meetings for everything else, let's have a prayer Zoom meeting. If you can get on Facebook and Facebook Live, and you can do Messenger, and everybody can just do that type of prayer if you want. We've been having the phone line prayers. You can still do things like that. So it's no excuse for that at all. We can still fellowship online. My church, where we attend, we do everything on Zoom right now. If not on Zoom, if they do a church service, they put it on Facebook Live. So we still have our service. Our pastor still does that. He still teaches us. He sends us stuff all the time. He checks on us. He do all of that. He makes sure that we have during the pandemic. Anything that somebody needed, they had it. If you needed it, so I just don't like some of the time. I have to go there. This is when I have to go there. These people who go from church to church, begging people for money, knowing they have money, they get mad if somebody don't give it to them. I don't understand. You're only reason why that you member of this church because they helping you pay your bills. That is a shame. I don't know why I had to go to, I don't know why I'm releasing some things right now that's not right. Why do that? Why only become part of a body if because you get your needs met? You're supposed to be able to help somebody else. Who was that? Hey cousin. You should be able to help somebody else instead of all the time looking for a handout. That's why you can't move from one position to the next position, because you're putting yourself in a position to only want to receive and not give. We see that all the time. You only here at this church because they help you with your bills when you need it. When the last time you went out and helped somebody else? You seen this a homeless person out there, all they want is some food and you can't give them a meal? Oh, you got food stamp, okay, go to the store, buy some stuff for them. With your food stamps. So there ain't no excuse. Oh my God, oh Jesus. Oh, that's really hit me right there. That right there. I've seen so much stuff. I've just seen so many things that in the body of Christ, and you running people away from the church all because of the stupid stuff that people been doing. And we want people to come back to the ministry. We want them to come back to God. We want them to come back to accepting the Lord Jesus Christ as their Savior. We don't want to run off anybody with your positions and your titles, and you think you better than somebody else because you win $300, $400 suit when you come in. I never do. I would never ever. I love these so-called pastors in the pulpit don't truly have the heart of God. They just love. Yeah, because they have a title. What's the title? God is not going to look at you. Okay, for instance, and I'm being honest. When you go to your job, do they call you by your title? Do they call you prophet this and apostle this when you go to work? Do they call you that? Do they call you evangelist when you on your job? Some people may give you that honor. I know this. I have a couple of people on my job that does that. They call me pastor or they call me evangelist. I mean, that's just the patrons that come through there. But if you in a real professional world, they're not going to do that. They're not going to say bishop. They're not going to say evangelist and none of that kind of stuff. They're not going to do that. That's because you have a certain title. That's only when you in the work world. But when you come from off the work world, you all this, you all that, because you got this certain title. Now another thing is, did God give you that title, or did you give yourself that title? Did God actually put you in that position, or did you put your own self in that position? Or was you put in that position by somebody else because of what someone else said that what you are and what you are not? To be a true prophet, you go through some things. I know, been there. Even in the Bible, it says the things that the prophets had to go through. True prophets, especially end-time prophets right now. We have restless nights, don't sleep. We dream about certain things. We see certain things. And guess now we're going to have to start calling it out. No more holding my tongue. No more keeping it to myself, because I'm not going to have that blood on my hands. So if you want God to put you in a position that you need to be in, you better get it right, and get it right now. Stop all that fakeness. Start getting that relationship with God right now. Accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, because everything is not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And this COVID right here is a pure example of showing us where our true heart was when we for those who go to church. Where our true heart is as far as compelling others to come back to Christ. You have brothers and sisters out here, don't have anything, not because of the choice that they made, but maybe certain situation, their house burnt down. They might get in an accident, can't work anymore, nervous breakdown. There's a lot of people who have depression. Make sure you start checking on people, because that's what I'm going to start doing myself. I'm not going to say anything to anybody else if I'm not going to do it myself. Cheryl, you know. Cheryl, you know. I'm not going to say anything if I don't do it myself. I knew what I had to do at one time or another to get myself back in line with God. I sat myself down. I'm not going to pray on nobody. I ain't going to lay hands on nobody if I'm doing wrong. I'm not going to do any of that. Y'all better get y'all things together and get it straight. You got to get it right, because God is not going to put you in that position. And then some people, positions are going to be taken away from them. And that's another thing that's going to happen. A lot of people's positions, as far as in the spiritual realm, is going to be taken away from them because they have not used it to what God wants them to use it for. They have not given God the glory for the positions that they are in. And that's why some of the ministries and churches is going to close down, because it was not set up for the glory of God. It was set up for the glory of themselves, just to have a title, just to have a name, just to sugarcoat things to the people, giving them the listening ear and what they want to. Is anybody talking about heaven or hell? Where you going to spend eternity? If there, there's no more of that prosperity. And I'm not saying God don't want to bless you, because he still will bless you. I'm not saying that God wants you to be poor with no money, and that's a lie right there. That's not the truth. But the thing is, when you use God's name in vain and use it for your, when they use it for their gratification, when they use it for their, just to have this certain title, and you want everybody to bow down to you, and just like being with the Pharisees and the Sadducees. I can't pronounce the other one. Y'all can pronounce it for me. Sadducees used to do. They were so uppity. We were just talking about that. They were so uppity. Nobody can tell them nothing. They want people to praise them, but it's not about. It's all about praising God. Worshiping God, praising our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's what it's all about. Get that relationship with him, and God's going to move you to the next position. Get ready to move to you. Those who's been doing the will of God, those who's been on the battlefields right now, God's going to move you to the next position because you've been doing the things that you need to do for his people. He's going to acknowledge you more and more, and things gonna have a big change. He gonna put people like us in other people's position, and they're gonna take their position away from them because they have not done what they needed to do in the position that God had given to them. They might have started off at a certain pretense as far as they was doing things, and then everything got kind of big headed, and the next thing you know, they stopped doing it. We should do that. We should do what we do daily, on a daily. No matter if I got a quarter and this person need 10 cents, I get 10 cents out the quarter. Sometimes I take my last. That's why I don't carry much cash from. Sometimes I take my last and say, hey, here. I get money and I'm spending it right back on somebody else with what they need. Because they might not have it. Especially they have some elderly people that's out here that they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have their children come see them. And it's a shame sometimes, like, why is family so spread apart? You don't talk to mom, or you don't talk to brother or sister with something they said long 20, 30, 40 years ago. Then that's time to cut that out. That don't even make any sense. Because you mad with them, and the minute they die, then you want to start feeling sorry and things like that. Don't feel sorry for me when my time comes. I probably make a list of the people I want to come to my funeral. If your name ain't on that list, you not gonna come. Support, and another thing, we need to support each other. We got the north, east, south, and west of this city. I come all the way from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm thank God was able to meet a lot of people from different parts of the city who's doing the works of God as far as and who have helped me, who have encouraged me. I just want to say thank you, everybody who's been doing that, who's been there by my side through thick and thin. I might not be able to reach out to everybody all the time like I would like to. I might not be able to, but I try to send text messages. Because I send you text messages, don't think I'm just sending you a text because I want something from you. Most of the time I send out text messages and say hello, how you doing, to make sure I love checking on people. So if you get a text message or a messenger from me, that's coming from my heart. I'm not calling you or just always want to contact somebody because I need something. Only time I ask anybody for anything is doing the Columbus takeover, and that's about it. Anything other venture that we do, I don't ask anybody to do it because God supplied it, because He gave me a job to do it. Behind the scenes, if you ever doing, I know it's kind of hard doing outreach because you use your own money. Behind the scenes, I've been using my own money. Either I save it, I save my tithes, or however, use my own everything to do what I'm doing besides the Columbus takeover. Even with the takeover, I put lots of money in that of my own money, me and my husband own money, to put those events together to help other people. And it's been every year God's been growing it and growing it, and all because I've been faithful with it. Sometimes you want to give up on it. Sometimes I didn't want to do it anymore. But God was like, no, this is why I gave you this, and you have to do it. Just be obedient. So I went through a whole nother round. I don't know how I get on that other subject, but I would just was speaking about the positions that God is going to start putting people in. So they're going to be in a position where they're going to meet someone. They're going to position when people are going to come to you. You don't have to search. They're going to come to you and say, hey, sis, boom. Hey, bro. Hey, this right here. I see. You never know who's watching you. You never know who's watching you. So that's why you got to be, I'm not going to say P's and Q's. You got to have your character and your integrity so high. That old thing my dad be saying, you be hooking and crooking, but God's always looking. So that's why I make sure I don't do anything don't want nothing done to me. I won't do it to nobody else. My reputation is going to stay. The things that people did behind my back, and that's another story right there. I'll say that later on. But it wasn't right. So I'm just saying, get ready. Kasarabasa. So God is going to put you in your position. And He's going to put you in a position you will be able to help other people. He put in a position you still be able to pay your bills at your house. He's going to put you in a position that you'll be able to connect back with family members and friends who you haven't seen in a long time and compel them to come to Christ, because you are the conduit that's going to be used to do that. You are going to be the conduit that going to bring your family back to the Lord. You're going to be the conduit that's going to bring people back to the Lord. I'm talking about there's a lot of people who have fallen and went astray all because of how they was feeling, how they was being treated when they used to go to certain ministries. And whatever ministry that you have, it don't even have to be a church. You can have things that you can do in your house. You can gather people in your house like they used to do back in the old days, like they used to do back in Jesus' day. They didn't have churches like we talking about buildings. They had churches and gatherings in homes. And that is about to start back all over again too. So get ready, get prepared. Study to show that self-approved. Start studying the word, start reading the word. Start going through the word, start, observing the word. Sometimes I'm not a scripture quoter, but when I'm in the spirit realm, it comes out. And that's the things we're going to start doing. We can't do revival anymore. We can't gather that much anymore. But you can gather a few little people and get them on your Zoom, get them on conference call. When times get better, we're just going to have we congregate in the house. So many people we can have. You can have a whole bunch of people. But at the same time, God is like, our work is not finished. Just because this COVID. I'll be masked up if I got to stand on the corner with a bullhorn. If I still have to do what we was doing in the cold, they got people out here that's hungry. Because every Tuesday there's a group that comes to my on a job that gives out dinners, and you ought to see it's families that show up in cars. They have vehicles, but they don't have any food. But I mean, they need hot food. I want to go out and I guess we call it soup or something like that on Mondays, on days that I'm off, that I must try and start going back out there. This year I was my body and stuff was healing up, so I couldn't do too much like I wanted to. I couldn't support like I wanted to and go places and things like that. I couldn't do it because I had surgery, and then it take a little while for it to be healed up. So now things are starting to slow down a little bit. Things are starting to come together as far as that. So I know at the beginning of the year I'd be healed up more, so I could still go back out and start doing things. So because you don't see me out, whatever, I haven't stopped. I just have to take care of myself for a minute and for a change. But I'm ready. Give me about the beginning of the year and everything will be right. So those who want to, I have a thread. I might change it. It's called Network of Outreach Ministries. That I had a thread doing Messenger. So every time someone is doing something, we want to try to support them as much as we can. I can't do it all the time. Something simple, a case of water. Right now, we need water. I need coats, canned goods, like the little chicken in the packs, like the food you can eat right, but you don't have to refrigerate it. Those type of items. I need those type of items right now. What else? Coats, hats, gloves, any of those type of items that you have. Clothing. What I'm doing is whatever you have, send it to me, and then with other ministries that I know who need whatever, and then I'll distribute it like that. I'll just be the conduit as far as all those type of items. I had a sign. Hold on 1 second. I had this little thing I had out, so this is my little sign thing. We need many. I've been posting it up. I'm gonna keep posting it up again. We need women and men clothing. If you have like somebody that real small, size 0 all the way up, from size 0 all the way up. Gently used purses or backpacks. I still got some backpacks. I still got some book bags left. Gently used purses or backpacks. Underwear. Small, medium, large, new underwear. Gently used hoodies. Zip up hoodies. That's to keep, the wind off them and things like that. Travel size shampoos, conditioners, anything, those type of essentials, we need that. Sleeping bags. I bought some sleeping bags. I gave that to another ministry. So we need more sleeping bags. Canister fuel. There's some people that's, canned chicken. Canned chicken or that meat. What is that? They have the store kits in the pack. You can just open it up. It don't have to be something that can be easily opened. That's what we need. Something that can be easily opened and they can eat it right then and there. It's not just for the homeless. It's for and then some of it's for the women that's been, we got human trafficking. It's just, the human trafficking, homeless, or anybody that needs food, anything that's simple that don't need. Because some people, they may have a house and they might not have a refrigerator to put the food in, but they need food. We need food out of it's the water, the chicken and the tuna, snack packs and soft snacks. Because they have some people, I'm just being honest, they don't have any teeth in their mouth, and their teeth is, not really together. They need some things like that to snack on. I've been helping Mr. James Sherrill behind the scenes. So every month, meals ready to eat. But that you don't have to put in the refrigerator. So Mr. James, I've still been keeping up with him since you left there. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to call you later and tell you about that. So that's the kind of things that we need. And not just going to be for me. It's going to be for any ministry so I can just get it. I'll be the central location. I just send it out to anybody and whoever else needed. And that'd be my contribution for right now until I be able to come back out and because back in the day, I used to be rain, shine, sleet, snow in the wintertime. Bridge builders used to be out there every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I was going out there, and I didn't even have heat in my car at that time. So y'all just don't know ministry. It really matter. It was a snowstorm in the whatever. I used to be out there. So by next year, I'll be back on track. I'll be back out there in the trenches. I'll be back at the homeless camps. I'll be back in those places. So right now, I'm just going to thank God for y'all for tuning in right now. Can I get somebody to join in to pray me? You know what I'm saying? Ask to be added on here. Who want to be added on the camera? Julie or Cheryl, and pray us out. Because God's gonna put you in this position. Who wanna I get somebody else to pray us out. Who's that? Okay. I got